Emily and Phoebe, hi.
Hi.
So happy to have you guys here with us. One of my favorite things about this group that I wanted to talk about right off the bat for people that maybe aren't familiar, you guys seem like you're best friends, you're fans of each other, you're fans of each other's music, and I just think that is the most beautiful thing ever. And if I was ever in a band, that's how I'd want to do it. I'd want to be with my best friends. So talk about your chemistry, your friendship. Let's hear about that.
Our chemistry.
All these I'm just going to throw out all the bands that fight are babies.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this with like a whole thing about like males being asked to, or like people assigned male at birth being like socialized to view their like usefulness and their value as like way more economized and mechanized, and us as having like as people who are socialized as like women, our value is like caretaking and stress managing. No, like seriously. And so like for us to exist within like when all my best friends in the band that I played with in high school were my best friends too, and they were emotionally unaware dudes. So we loved each other how that kind of family would love each other. And I'm like, oh, there's like alternative ways to interact with your family and something you want to protect. So like we're explicit about being friends because we put a lot of like work and consciousness into, or like, wow, I said work and now I can't. It hadn't been easy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, hadn't been easy with these two, but I'm just kidding.
Phoebe has this thing.
I'm the
where,
least qualified to
like,
say
when
that. I
people
just
are,
want to throw that out there.
Like, in like an anniversary of like a wedding anniversary, like when people post, like there's been ups and downs, and Phoebe one time was like, if
Punishable
anyone
by death.
I'm dating says that we have ups and downs on the internet, they're getting divorced.
Like everybody
Divorce,
has ups and
immediate
downs.
divorce.
You don't need to tell the internet that
Yeah.
a relationship
That's what I mean.
has
It's
good
just
and
like-
bad days.
You can tell your spouse, I would like to work for you, and like even if there are hard days, that it's like all worth it. In a private conversation, that is sweet and an act of love. But saying, I really have to work at this relationship on Instagram is, I think, punishable by
It's like
death.
a cry for help, honestly. Why are we thinking that's sweet? That could
There
be.
are tropes that I like about like wedding posts, like married my best friend. That's cute. I think it's cute that,
Seems like a lot of people are marrying their best friend.
and that's tight. I think that's tight. But
I
ups
think
and
it's
downs,
tight to be
no.
like marrying some person. Like who isn't marrying their best friend? That's
That's why you should get married.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
can
was the
tolerate this
question?
person, and I want to.
We married
have a
our best
partner.
friend by being in this band.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway.
I love it. I just love hearing you guys all talk. You're just like feeding off each other.
Yeah, you'll be able to
We
get, like,
start
2
here,
questions
and then we
in.
end up here. Again, we're talking to an audience that maybe isn't familiar with Boygenius. They might be familiar with you each individually, but as the supergroup, as you guys have been dubbed, tell us in the audience how you got your name.
Well, we were riffing about some guys we think are stupid, that think that they're very smart, and just like the type of creativity that comes from never being told that your ideas are dumb, and how actually there's a little bit of jealousy there, like for these people that are so creative and have never experienced self-doubt. They maybe sometimes have really cool ideas, and
Yeah,
just
it's cool to be stupid and to go big and fail.
Because they're allowed to think them, and so obviously it's like you're a little bit envious of having had the space or the freedom from scrutiny or the freedom from constant evaluation.
Do you feel like girls/women are constantly evaluated and scrutinized in a different way?
Depends.
Yeah.
I don't know across the board. I think it's dangerous to talk about like women's experience as a singular thing.
Yeah.
Even if there are like shared thing, like there's probably stuff we could all relate about being socialized as women. But yeah, like I think there's a lot of other things that come into play, like race and class, and yeah. Anywho,
Yeah, I had read that sometimes when you're in the studio and maybe you're creating a song and you're having a little bit of self-doubt, like, is this good? Is this actually going to be good? And you'll be like, hey, get your Boygenius head on or whatever it is, get in that frame of mind. And that's kind of how that came about.
I had a stupid idea 2 days ago, and it was fun to immediately laugh about it. Remember the, like, weird note I tried to get somebody to play? That was, like, deeply not in the key.
Oh,
yeah.
It's funny
it
to
was.
immediately, like,
That
I was so
chord
excited
happens
about it.
later, and you wanted it to be, but we all understood. Here's the thing, too, is that it's not like we're all just out here saying every idea we have, and everybody's like, so good. It's like,
nah, dog.
Yeah,
You gotta go
it's
for it.
if
gotta
you feel like
miss.
someone can safely be like, nah, dog, without being like, you've failed me. Like, that is safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe a space. And I see boy geniuses do that to each other. Like, boy geniuses that are secure, like we all know a bunch of, like, producers and musicians and stuff. And when they talk to each other, they're like, oh, you missed that note, or, like, that note's wonky. And they're like, ah. Like, it doesn't translate to a personal incompetence.
Mhm.
The guys I record with, we'll just be like, okay, do another take, but not so stupid. Like, just do better. Like, there's just I think there's like a speed element to that. It's just like burst through, like, stop belaboring whether it's worthwhile and just try it and find out. So just like stop wasting time on the inner dialogue and externalize and sift through all of it.
Yeah.
It's like a embracing impatience.
Or, like, I mean, honestly, in our recording process, I feel like that's like delegating labor fairly in a community too, and like from each according to their ability is the first part of to each according to their needs. Like, I'm 5 feet tall. I'm not gonna get the job of getting stuff down from a high shelf for people.
That's on me.
That's on Lucy. That's not the job I'm good at. So, like, I have a way easier time now. Things I used to spin out about maybe when we were recording the first EP for like 5 days. Like, in the studio, I'll be like, I can't hit this note. I can't hit this note.
Yeah.
Somebody else get it. Let's change this harmony. Somebody else do this. Somebody else play this guitar part. I don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. We're here with Boygenius tonight. Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus. And you just released your first album a couple months ago called The Record. It's an exquisite, beautiful piece of art. What was it like? Or have you noticed a difference? You're on a major label, and I feel like most of your work has been on indie labels. Phoebe, we know you have your own label, Satisfactory, which is awesome. How has it been working with Interscope?
I really
So
like
great.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all indie rock people.
Right.
Like, I think the industry has changed so much that, it's fueled by ramen, right? That
Yeah,
John Janik worked at. It's just like, it's
Janik
cool
was-
to watch how people succeed within the industry.
Yeah.
And so we all come from the same background.
Yeah.
We're not like going in with a bunch of suits.
I think, like, major and indie, like, I don't care as long as it's good people that care about the music.
And good curation and Michelle, the art director, is so incredible and hands-on. And
yeah, Chelsea. There's just tons of people we've gotten to meet that, like, make our lives easier and better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I don't know, I guess people kind of, like, ask this question as if we've experienced flack or something, like we've lost, like, indie cred. What is indie credit? Where am I using my indie credit?
Well,
I would like to cash in my indie credit.
I would like to cash in my indie credit. Like, even to
for
all
career
of this
stability,
is stupid. Like,
financial safety.
like to be talking about this at all is stupid. There's so much ego, I think, involved in that. And I'm just like, I don't really care as long as it's being treated well. Like, I just want it treated well.
And it's like, fundamentally, I get that. I think it used to be way more on the surface, like the splintering of genre and the availability, like the constant consumption and the shift towards like content creation versus like a physical purchase is like all stuff that's really reforming like recorded music as a commodity. But it's like where, like, okay, so an indie is generating revenue off of itself and not having like other investors, so you can be like more discriminatory about the people that are running it. But also, like, there's indie labels with people that that their values are not mine. And there are people I don't want to do business with. And then there's people from indies that I love. And it's like, why not? Also, it's like, I never, maybe when I was 10, I was like, major labels is like selling out. And I was like, no, dude, I want every single person to hear the music I made for them.
Yeah.
Like, I want the most people to hear it.
No, it's well said. And I think in business in general, it is about the people. So there's a name and an umbrella and a logo and what have you. But at the end of the day, it's the people behind it that you need to connect with.
And how you purpose the resources too. Like, say, like the thing with the indie label is its own revenue source, and the like major label has like alternative investors or like venture capitalists or whatever. So Robin Hood, whatever, that you don't agree with it, fine. Turn it into gay art. Like,
Let's talk about Not Strong Enough. I would love for you guys to say a few words about that song.
I was listening to a lot of Frank Black.
Nice. Pixies?
Yes. But he has an incredible solo record with that song Los Angeles on it too, which is also great. But I was just kind of like learning chords and messing around and had this kind of grungy thing, which I've never done, and sent it to the boys, and Julian ran with it.
You showed us that in person.
You showed us that
Oh,
in
I did?
person.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That was at our first writing trip, because we were sending things through COVID, and then we both got vaccinated on the same day, and so 14 days out we both flew to Phoebe immediately. I think that's cute that's
so
the
cute.
very first thing that we did. And then you had this idea of like the verse turning into the chorus kind of seamlessly, like that's just like a cool compositional idea. And I think you were like, and here's like placeholder lyrics that are still there, and they're still good.
Cute. True
Also,
group effort.
True group effort, because I was like, you played it and I was like, oh, those are like, I just love a weird chord. And it was like you literally sitting across from me, like pointing to the frets. And I was like, oh, this is so what music's about, is being like, like the whole thing where they let George Harrison in the Beatles because he knew one more chord than John and Paul knew together. One more chord.
Really?
One additional chord.
Wow.
And then they learned together
Yeah.
by playing thousands of shows.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you all write the lyrics together, or did someone usually write all the lyrics to one song? Because you're all singing on that, so that's why I'm like.
What's cute about that is I wrote the part that Julian sings. Julian wrote the part that I
really?
sing. We collaborated on the choruses, and
That's
then
so
Lucy
cute.
wrote the end.
Yeah.
I wrote a little bit of the last chorus, because usually we kind of delegate section. Like we have our song "Cool About It." It's like we each wrote what we sing, and then the songs that we entirely sing solo with the others singing harmony are usually all the person singing.
Okay.
So this song is cute to me because it's such a collaboration.
We'll be editors of each other. Like, Emily, I'm sorry, like Phoebe wrote that whole thing, and then we changed a couple words, and then like I wrote "We're in Love," and then Phoebe changed a couple words, and then you wrote all of "Anti-Curse,"
and then y'all
we
changed
changed
a couple
words.
things, yeah.
And
That's cool.
yeah, it's nice to trust y'all as editors too. We were just talking about how like you feel competitive with us, like in a writing way.
Oh,
which is
interesting.
Cool. Because I think in general, like, we are not competitive. We're kind of like, that's a huge part of this whole enterprise is like non-competition, but like the good side of that is like trying to make each other better.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's like
when you to succeed, it's a win for me because I want to do better.
I want y'all to be proud of me so bad because your opinion matters to me. And I admire y'all. I know that you are. Well, okay, I know. I don't need to be. This is actually just to validate me.
This
But
is just like a total love affair between you guys as friends.
A love
I love
affair.
it. I love it.
If only.
Cash prizes every day. Adds up when you play at Pulse Casino.
Pulse.com. Over 700 casino-style games and counting. And no terrible lounge singer. Promise.
Hey, that's pretty mean.
There's always a new reason to play. Cash prizes every day of the week. PULSZ.com.
Pulse in your pocket, you can play anywhere. PULSZ.com. LSE.com.
Let's talk about the film. How did you guys pick Kristen Stewart? Did you go to her? Did she come to you? How
Lucy
did this
literally
happen?
went, I think Kristen Stewart would do a video, and I sent her an email, and she responded immediately and was like, my dream.
She seems like a perfect choice, honestly.
Oh
She
my
seems like she
God.
could be the
Yes.
4th band member.
And she would be so pleased to hear you say that.
I mean,
And we are pleased.
She was
to-
texting us in the
put up
middle
that
of the
she's
night with
pleased.
ideas. Like the way, I don't know, it was neat
I
to
love
see
that
in a
guy.
totally
I love
different
that guy.
media someone engaging with the same volume of passion.
Yeah.
With the- and
She's literally so good. Like, she did so good.
It's
at
Yeah, she
directing
did.
us. And what was so cool was watching her have an idea and then she would act it for us.
yeah.
So then we would just copy
Oh, that's
her.
neat. Okay.
Like, she would do all the blocking and like go from Kristen to Kristen Stewart acting, and it was
Yeah.
like just so amazing. Like, I had never, it felt like powerful. And so
Mm-hmm.
whatever good we did is just like a fraction, a little sliver of whatever good she was showing
That's
us.
true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that's so neat. And for people listening, the film is a 3-song medley from 3 songs, the first 3 singles off the album, actually, that you guys released. And it is that the videos are beautiful. They're beautiful. They're like watching home movies, but they all have themes, but they're filmed very like you're almost watching through somebody's camera roll from 20 years ago. I mean, they are. I thought she did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Perfect match. So yeah, I was curious how that all came about. Coachella, that was the first time really that you guys played new music, right? Live?
Yes.
Yeah, we
was
were
amazing.
so nervous, and then we all had
We all got
respiratory
sick.
infections
Yeah.
and had to take
No.
steroids
After
the day of.
after
I was on, I was
During.
on like a Z-pad. I was, yeah.
We
I
were
was shaking.
like, our
because
band
I was all like,
is amazing. Like, all of our players. Actually,
Yeah.
I just want to like shout out our entire band by name.
yeah,
Like,
Matt
Sarah
in class,
Goldstone
Sarah
on
Goldstone.
keys, Matt in class on drums, Melina Duterte on like everything, who's J-Som that we're all fans of, and Tiana O'Hara on bass.
awesome.
I just am in love with all of them,
Yeah.
and they are just good. They didn't have a day
Mm.
where they weren't good at the songs. Like, we haven't had to worry at all. And so the production is big, and there's like moving parts,
Mhm.
and so there's all these things that could have gone wrong, but then it was our voices. But I don't know if people really noticed. Like, I think we still pulled it off, and it was fun.
So
I,
fun.
I think that in the
So
past we
good.
would have all beaten ourselves up more, but I think we're all kind of like lifted by the people want us
As
to
the
do good,
stakes
you know.
get higher, they get lower.
Yeah.
Well, also, it's
That's a
a
good
rock.
line.
I've been thinking about this so much when I go back and listen to like bootlegs, or like I was listening to like just like live tapings of stuff, or even live cuts like board rips or live streams of our stuff, and I'm like, no one, like the capability of technology to refine music in the recorded space,
Mhm.
I think has put a bigger gap between what's possible creatively in recorded sound and what's possible in live sound. And as those two things get further apart, I'm more okay with being like, it's a rock show.
Absolutely.
I was screaming for 50 minutes. Like, I mean, you know, like, also, I think it's a thing where I can put myself in the shoes of, like, watching a person, or, like, being in the audience. And, like, when I watch the live stream back, I'm sitting on the couch at like 2 p.m. It's
Mhm.
not, like, all the other mental factors of, like, like, they aren't there. And something a person told me when I was on my first record cycle that I think of all the time is they are invested in you being good, too.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have a good time.
Which is unique to music. Like,
yeah.
when you
Mhm.
see a play or see a comedian or something, you don't know the material before. So we're very lucky to be in an industry where it's, yeah, the people are coming to the show betting for you. Maybe you're
Yeah.
playing a festival in the middle of the day, whatever, but we're going to win people. We are incredible live.
Yeah.
I just have to shout that out. Like,
Agree.
come see us live. It is crazy in a way that, like, when I play solo, I think I'm more trying to remind people of the recordings I made.
Mhm.
And this is just kind of like its own thing live. It just
Yeah.
is amazing. I love not singing the whole time. I love playing guitar, love running around,
Yeah.
We're an incredible live
like
band.
sharing the spotlight.
Mhm.
I like not having the full brunt of attention on me, and like I don't know, I feel this weight off with y'all live that makes me feel like I can even just move around more. Like the freedom of movement is easier, just because I don't know.
Well, literally, you're not singing as much as solo. Like that was the weird thing for me. I'm like, oh right, I can watch also.
Well, and that was going to be my next question is how different is it from when you perform solo to when you're with each other? And you just answered that.
It's just better.
So fun.
It's just better.
It is better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I love my band, but it's my name.
too.
But
also.
it's your first name, last name. It's not about the band.
I like being a part of something more than being something in general.
All right. And our 16th heady thing said by Lucy today. No, I agree.
Phoebe, you've opened some shows for Taylor Swift, and Lucy and Julian, you even joined Phoebe for some of those shows. What are these shows mental? I mean, I haven't seen it yet. It looks freaking insane.
It's a sight to see.
It's so many people. It's like no one.
Yeah, exactly. Like
wow.
I don't think nerves really are a factor because it just stops being anyone.
Well, also, like, Phoebe was the opener, and then we were a surprise. So we're, like, levels removed from expectation.
Yeah, it's not.
And, yeah, I was weirdly not nervous. And I was like, am I just dissociating? No.
Are
I
you
think
more
it's
nervous,
just-
do you think, for your own shows than you were?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can see that.
Also,
Yeah.
Taylor is just a joy
Yeah.
to be around, and she's on stage for like 3.5 hours.
Truly impressive what
singing
she does.
full voice the entire time. It's insane. So being a baby in any way around her is like impossible.
Also,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, like,
not
how
the
dare.
most. You're not the headline of the Taylor Swift
Yeah.
show. So I'm like, oh, I hit that flat note and cool about it. It's like, guess what? No one remembers.
No.
It's the
Yeah.
Eras tour.
Yeah.
Just seeing her handle everything with grace is really rad.
Yeah.
You know, just like I've seen like indie rock dudes crumble at like they're headlining a festival and they like act like a baby all day.
Dude.
Not from nerves. I totally sympathize with nerves, but like be a brat
Yeah.
and like yell at someone backstage because you're stressed or like I've seen that happen so many times and I'm like,
Yes.
calm down. Taylor's walking off stage and like being a human and so kind and cool and
Yes.
I also want to say this. That show, like watching the Eras performance, like, well, I'd never seen Taylor Swift perform before, but I was like, oh, this is actually so big of a deal to so many people that it is pushing the like commodity of music in the music industry.
Yeah.
It's so ubiquitous that it is now just culture, and it's like so unique in the way that you can't. It's like if she were Sully from Monsters Inc. and we were like, if we were gonna do the capitalist thing and evaluate like the success of what she does on like bottled joy, the noise of 70,000 kids getting their life
Yeah,
is
like daughters and
undeniable.
mothers.
She's
and
making-
exceeds,
Yeah.
it's
fans,
outside of a
but-
capitalist space.
Yeah.
It's outside of an economy. It is a gift. It's like a thing that she does, and also she came into it at the door that she was in, and it's like giving she's actually subsumed and giving everything to all these people.
Yeah.
It's so like
she's making music popular. She's making like people pick deep cut songs,
Also,
like stuff that we
yeah.
used to do with like hardcore bands,
I
but
was,
for
like-
pop.
Yeah,
know,
you're right.
It's truly unique. Like the place that she holds in society, she just completely invented for herself.
I also I like to think about the Picasso effect. Picasso was good at rendering things, and then all the stuff that people are like, my kid could do that, was a choice, you know? Whereas like you have like this sick beat, but then there's these other lyric. Like she's such a great lyricist, and watching like 11-year-olds with their moms sing along full voice to these actually kind of like deep and profound and emotionally aware. I'm like, are these girlies gonna grow up being like emotionally better because of their
right.
understanding
Yeah.
of this material?
Antihero is like the top song on Spotify, and it has 2 lyrics that are like, is there such thing as a selfless act out of publicized altruism?
It's
We
so
love-
great to hear you, all three of you, speak so highly of another woman who you're right, she's doing it. She's putting in the work, and she's one of the hugest stars in the world.
Yeah.
Period.
And like has been and is a dynamic person. It's just cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Thank you for being on the show tonight, Boygenius.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having
Thank you so
us.
much.
Thank you for being on the show.
Of course.